Developing tonight, a Bucks County man is behind bars for his alleged involvement in a series of violent abductions and robberies in Philadelphia. 25-year-old Prince Amoabeng was arrested today. Last month, investigators outlined 3 incidents within a 24-hour span in Northeast Philly. That's where they say multiple armed men tried to force people inside a white U-Haul van and rob them at gunpoint. A woman was targeted, kidnapped off the street, robbed, and a suspect fired a gun at her. Another victim was abducted and driven to multiple ATMs. A third was robbed at gunpoint while trying to use a drive-through ATM and his car stolen. Police are still looking for more suspects tied to these robberies.
Caught on camera, and check this out here. The doors open to a minivan and just garbage comes pouring out. This all happened in front of a Philadelphia bakery. And as we learned from our Jennifer Lee, the owner was not happy about this, to say the least.
Surveillance video in Port Richmond captured the illegal dumping on East Allegheny Avenue.
A Honda Odyssey minivan, they came up, they drove up, they opened the door, and they just dumped out a bag of house trash.
The garbage was dumped on the front curb of Moon Bites. It was out this window, you saw it. Alexis Mercado runs the new Spanish-American bakery, making all kinds of sweets and special occasion cakes. But on Sunday, she had to handle the heap of garbage left behind.
I grabbed some gloves because it was a lot of trash. It was nasty. Cat litter, diapers, food, feces, animal feces. It was a lot. That amount of trash and that type of trash sitting in front of the business like that, I had to get it. I had to move it.
Across the street, we met Maynard Ware, who keeps Campbell Square Park clean for Philadelphia Parks and Recreation. He says it's hard to understand why.
There's that one, two, 3 cans on the street right there. They didn't do that.
And in the short few months the bakery's been open, the owner says she's faced other issues. For one, the sign that said Moon Bites was stolen. You could see the window over here. There is graffiti. And if we go towards the front door, the glass was smashed in.
Like the disregard for like the etiquette, the respect, just on the busy street. And I have a dumpster on the side of the house, so.
In Philadelphia, it's illegal to dump garbage in public spaces or on private property, and a violation may be issued. City officials say it makes neighborhoods less safe and healthy. People are encouraged to report illegal dumping. If you see it in the act, call 911. If it's after the fact, call 311.
It makes it almost look like you live inside of the trash can when you see the trash scattered everywhere.
In Port Richmond, Jennifer Lee, Fox 29 News.
Police in Newcastle County, Delaware, are sounding the alarm about a terrifying new challenge on social media. They're saying that several local homes have been hit by this dangerous trend, and our Shawnette Wilson spoke with one of the victims.
Kids having fun at the expense of unsuspecting and terrified residents. Police say it is not a good mix. In fact, they're concerned it is a recipe for a deadly disaster.
It scared me so bad that I immediately called the police.
This woman, whose identity we've concealed, is concerned for her safety.
All of a sudden, I heard a huge pounding on the door.
She says it was around 11:30 at night a few days ago when that aggressive pounding on her front door terrified her. Whoever did it took off right away.
Our neighborhoods need help, and that's just where I'm at. God is watching over us all, and I thank God for that. But we need help.
It's one of 3 similar incidents reported in this area of Christiana Falls, Westover, and Woodland Trails recently. Investigators say they happened between 10:30 and 11 o'clock at night. Newcastle County Police believe it's teens or younger participating in a TikTok challenge.
Once the participants, knock or kick the door loudly, then they flee on foot or on bicycles.
Sergeant Tracy Duffy says 2 more incidents happened in Brennan Estates in Bear, late evening, but it was still light outside. In one, the kids actually forced open a door. Police say these are pictures from neighborhood cameras of suspects in one of the cases there. All of the incidents reported so far happened between July 12th and the 15th. Sergeant Duffy says adults have a talk with your kids
about how serious it is, that it could end in something more dangerous or deadly for them.
We saw this sign in a window in one of the Newark neighborhoods. It reads, "We don't dial 911," and shows a pointed gun. We told Joyce Kessler about the challenge that's found its way into her neighborhood.
I've heard of TikTok challenges that are really stupid. I haven't heard of any that are worthwhile or good.
Prank or not, she too is afraid.
It's scary for me. I don't like the idea that they would do that.
Police say if caught, the kids could face criminal charges, and they're asking residents to check security cameras for any video that could help. In Newark, Shawnette Wilson, Fox 29 News.
Developing new overnight. Right now, police are investigating an attempted carjacking and robbery of a young pizza delivery man in Chestnut Hill who had his own gun and then turned the tables on the robbers. Around midnight on the 7700 block of Stenton Avenue, the 21-year-old pizza delivery victim told police that two guys in face masks force him back into the back seat of his car, rob him, but then he manages to get his own hand on his own weapon, fires off 2 shots, hits one of those suspects right in the back. That suspect is now in critical condition in the hospital. The second guy got away.
Video tonight of a drive-by shooting during a vigil in North Philadelphia that injured 5 people. Now, fortunately, everyone involved is expected to physically recover, and police have the suspect vehicle in custody. I'm Jason Martinez, and police do say they're still looking for the shooter or shooters here. Our Kelly Rule was in the neighborhood today, and Kelly, you have the very latest.
Yeah, Jason, so again, this shooting happened during a vigil for a 20-year-old man that was killed 2 weeks ago, according to police, only a block away. And according to friends and family in the community, the shooting happened only hours after his funeral yesterday. Now, today we talked to a number of people who were incredibly fearful of more retaliation, so they did not want to speak on camera, but they hope last night was the last of this. New surveillance video obtained by Fox 29 shows a gathering outside of a corner store at D Street and Wyoming Avenue before 9 last night. When a white Jeep drives by and people start to duck and run for cover, the moments Philadelphia police say 5 people were wounded in a drive-by shooting. A 17-year-old man, a 23-year-old man and woman, a 24-year-old woman, and a 68-year-old man.
It blows my mind. It's like this city is like, we need to stop doing this to ourselves. We want to build and grow better, and you can't do it doing stuff like that.
Police confirmed the shooting happened during a vigil, the aftermath still visible today, for 20-year-old Orlando Negron, who was shot and killed a block away on Wyoming Avenue back on July 5th. A 15-year-old boy was also wounded in that shooting. People in the community tell Fox 29 last night's vigil followed Negron's funeral during the day. Celso Baroa works in the neighborhood daily.
I've had a couple of customers that were related to the young gentleman. And it was, unfortunately, it was just a sad story to hear. They were telling me the young man was just trying to break up a fight, you know, and unfortunately, things got out of hand.
Police say they found the shooter's vehicle, the white Jeep, shortly after the drive-by shooting a few blocks away on North 5th Street, abandoned, and recovered 3 guns inside, including a ghost gun. There was a visible police presence back at the corner into the afternoon today.
How long they was here? One day? Until tomorrow they're not here no more?
A man who identified himself as one of the shooting victims from last night but did not want to speak on camera was frustrated police were not patrolling at the time of the vigil. Commissioner Danielle Outlaw said last night police were not aware of it.
There was a vigil shortly after the previous shooting occurred on July 5th. We were out here, we had presence. There was no issues that night, but we were made aware of this vigil, unfortunately, after the shooting occurred.
And again, police say they have the suspect vehicle in custody. They were processing that for evidence today, but the investigation continues. If you have information, call the Shooting Investigation Group. Jason.
All right, Kelly Rule, Police Headquarters. Thank you, Kelly.
Only on Fox 29 tonight, we're talking with an 11-year-old girl injured in a shooting and her family. Thankfully, she's home from the hospital and recovering. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell.
I'm Jason Martinez. The girl was walking to catch a bus with her mom and siblings at the time of the shooting when police believe at least 2 shooters opened fire at a busy West Philly intersection last night. Our Kelly Rule spoke with her and her family. Kelly, how's she doing?
Sheba and Jason, fortunately, 11-year-old Peyton tells me she's okay. Now, she was grazed in 3 spots, according to her family, so she still has a lot of recovering ahead. They are so grateful this wasn't worse, but mentally, emotionally, they say they're traumatized and really angry this happened in the first place. I love you. 11-year-old Peyton smiles walking down the sidewalk with her mom, Carmen. A simple moment, but only hours before, her mom wasn't sure this would ever happen again.
I'm grateful she's not paralyzed. I'm grateful because I get to see her face. I get to see her smile every day. I'm grateful.
The family asked that we only use their first names. Just before 11:30 last night, Carmen says she got off work and picked up Peyton and her younger siblings from childcare in West Philadelphia. They were waiting for the bus on South 52nd Street near Ludlow Street when they heard 3 gunshots.
Me and my girls ducked and ran, and that's when the rest of the shots just started ringing out. I heard my name being called, Mom. She was crying, screaming, telling me her back. And it was a bystander that I'm truly, honestly grateful for.
Grow up, people. You're hitting your wrong targets. She's 11. We got to do better. Philly, we got to do better.
Philadelphia police believe she was hit with a stray bullet when nearly 30 shots were fired by what they believe was at least 2 shooters. A 32-year-old man was also shot in the leg and taken to the hospital, and a nearby car was hit where police say a 16-year-old was inside but not hurt. What was that like for you? Scary. Peyton was treated and released from CHOP with graze wounds to her back, hip, and leg, according to her mom and grandmom. How are you feeling?
Okay. You got kids that don't even want to play outside no more because they're scared whether or not they're going to die. My 11-year-old should not have to tell me, why did this happen to me? Mom, I'm sorry. I don't want to die.
Her family traumatized and furious this happened in a busy area with children around on a path they've walked dozens of times. Peyton has a message for the shooters.
It's innocent kids out there that's not doing anything to them, so I don't know why they're doing that to us.
Just heartbreaking. Now, police say there are a number of cameras in that area. They were out there today trying to get surveillance video. If you have information, contact the Shooting Investigation Group.
All right, Kelly, thank you.
Tonight, we are learning more about a shooting that leaves a local rapper dead. 25-year-old Kevin Spady, known as Young Cheese, was gunned down in Alney. The rapper is the son of Gilly the Kid. 2 other people were shot as well. And Cheyenne, so many people are heartbroken over this. You spoke with loved ones tonight.
Yeah, I did, Dawn, and it's hard to talk about this murder without mentioning hip-hop. Young Cheese was following in his father's footsteps, establishing himself as a rapper. So we spoke to the Philly music community, who's reminded again that something needs to change.
What do I say to a friend that just lost his son, and he's a great father?
This one hit home for well-known Philly producer Wiz Gam. He's close friends with Gilly the Kid and Unc to Young G's, who was murdered last night in Alney. While showing us some of his last text messages with his nephew, he realized he won't get another one again.
That's why I would get those random texts from him of him saying, "Unc, I'm gonna get with you. I need you to hear this music." And that's what we discussed, because that was something he loved.
Music not only connecting Cheese to his uncle, but also his father, Nasir Fard, better known as Gilly the Kid, a popular figure in Philly's hip-hop scene.
His sons, like, since they were coming to the studio in Batcave, running around, we would play with them and wrestle and run around. So I seen them as children to grow into men, and then to have their own children.
Gilly was definitely tapped into his family, and how he dealt with his children is incredible, and I'm very proud of him for that.
Devin Spady, who goes by his stage name Young Cheese, was in a rap group with his brother Mac, making them Mac and Cheese. Community activist Talia Taylor says the hip-hop culture is partially to blame for this violence.
Even with the rap murders, it's beef going back and forth. But that's the way the wave is. That's where our culture, the hip-hop culture is now. It's not real hip-hop. It's not real hip. It's just a whole murder scene.
We got to be more accountable. We got to have accountability. We have to be accountable to and step up and teach our young men that what we learned is wrong.
Gilly's father also co-hosts podcast $1 Million Worth of Game with motivator Wallow, trying to teach young people to stay out of the streets.
The world we came from it's a lie. It's no way out of it if you stay in it. So the game that they're giving these kids and these young boys is very valuable because they have lived it. We're going to lose a whole generation if this keeps happening. We're going to lose a whole generation of black men.
And while he knows his friend is hurting and will be for some time,
I know he's going to find something from this to use into what he's doing. Somehow, some way, I think his message is going to become even stronger.
And as of now, no one has been arrested for this shooting. Now, next weekend, Gilly also was throwing a large party with other celebrities coming to town to celebrate his birthday. Now, we all know Gilly's contagious laugh. I just hope that one day we get to hear it again. I'm in the newsroom. Cheyenne Karen, Fox 29 News.
All right, Cheyenne, thank you. Temple University safety once again top of mind tonight. A 20-year-old is dead. Another woman injured after a double shooting just blocks from campus. Good evening, I'm Dawn Timoney. One of the victims, a recent Temple University graduate. Our Eddie Kadam talked with neighbors who say this rash of violence hitting so close to the school is far too familiar.
While police are investigating tonight, the students and people who live in the area told me, unfortunately, this isn't the first time that they've experienced something like this.
That fits the description too closely to who I am. Like, that's when I get, like, freaked out because that's crazy.
One of the victims in a double shooting, a 22-year-old woman who graduated from Temple in May. Police say she was shot in the leg and is being treated at the hospital. Now, Sydney McNeil, she's a senior at Temple and says she and her friend had to be escorted to her friend's apartment through the crime scene last night.
I stay on campus because of stuff like that happens. This was my first time, like, seeing it.
Olivia Perea just graduated from Temple and lives a block away. She says, unfortunately, this isn't the first time she's been randomly caught in a crime scene in the area.
I was walking my dog towards 18th Street and we witnessed a shooting, but he's just a little dog, so he didn't understand I was running, and it was traumatizing. Like, definitely cried my eyes out, but there's been a couple times. There was even a time like a couple months earlier that I was coming home from dance practice with my friends and we saw a shooting at the same corner.
Mackay says he grew up around here and heard the gunshots and people running and screaming, and he's tired of seeing young people lose their lives over nothing.
Come here, stop selling guns and stuff like that. And when you sell guns, people gonna sell them to other people. People gonna get killed.
Police say no arrests have been made and no weapon was recovered at the scene. Temple University put out a statement saying they were saddened to hear about the shooting so close to campus and that counseling is available to any students that may need it. At Philadelphia Police Headquarters tonight, Eddie Kadam, Fox 29 News.
Violent and deadly weekend in Philadelphia. At least 3 people were killed and nearly a dozen injured. And that includes several police officers, one of them struck by a car while trying to disperse a large crowd in North Philly. Here's our Cheyenne Corinne.
When it gets to this point, it's like, why am I not surprised? Like, you know, it's urban genocide at this point.
Neighbors reacting to yet another violent weekend in Philly with multiple people killed and at least 10 injured, including police officers.
Even what other cities are doing, like they're enforcing curfew rules and stuff. They're putting kids in jail. They're taking them to the police station until their parents can pick them up or until they could be dropped off somewhere by police. You know, they're enforcing rules.
And police also say overnight they had to break up a large group of people gathering here on Broad Street. Just take a look at these tire markings left from several cars doing spinouts. Now, this also happening near Temple University and this Sunoco gas station.
It was like, I finally registered, like, wait a minute, because there was kind of white noise for a bit. I'm just a block away, but then I was like, no, that's crazy.
Several officers also were injured while dispersing the crowd of nearly 500 people. One was hit by a car, causing a broken ankle.
And what's really sad is the city's starting to become accustomed to this. This is the norm, and it shouldn't be the norm. We need to get a hold of the city. We need to go back and the basics, law and order, and start doing it, the job, even with the undermanned people that we do have.
One of the shootings happened in North Philly when a man on a dirt bike reportedly shot and injured a man and woman. 3 people also were shot, including a woman with special needs in the Grays Ferries neighborhood.
Our officers are followers, and we need the leadership to step in, give the support to the police, and let us do what we need to do to get this back under control, because it seems like a recurring theme every week.
A man in his 20s also was killed near Temple University. Jeremiah Pratt works in that area with kids and says being engaged in community programs can help them stay safe and out of trouble.
Young people need more experience in stuff like what I'm doing right now, to be honest. Like, young people should be learning how to develop their minds, develop activities.
No arrests have been made in any of these shootings. Cheyenne Kren, Fox 29 News.
And Mayor Jim Kenney releasing a statement about the Broad Street crowd, saying in part, quote, "I wish the police officers who were injured last night a speedy recovery, and I am, as always, very grateful to the officers who put themselves in harm's way every day to protect the public and keep the peace."
Police are investigating in Lehigh County after officers were involved in a deadly shooting. Investigators say Allentown police officers responded to a call early this morning about reports of a man waving a gun. Our Jennifer Lee is there, and what can you tell us, Jen?
Well, this deadly officer-involved shooting happened right behind me here on West Turner Street. We spoke with several people in this neighborhood. They tell me this man was living on the street, and a few of them considered him a friend.
I said, oh my God, how did this happen, you know?
Skyfox capturing the yellow evidence markers in the aftermath of a deadly officer-involved shooting in Allentown. Many neighbors waking up on Monday to streets shut down for the investigation would soon realize the 27-year-old man killed was a familiar face. Seen here on Facebook, the Lehigh County Coroner's Office identifying him as Dominic Hogan's. Several people say he was experiencing homelessness.
It's a person, you understand, that say hi to everybody every morning, you understand, and suddenly he's gone.
The deadly officer-involved shooting started when Allentown police officers responded to a call just after 3:30 a.m. for a man waving a firearm. Hogan's allegedly ran on foot and fired at officers, which is when police returned fire, killing him.
Nope, I don't need it.
Jeffrey Kleckner has been helping people experiencing homelessness in Allentown for the past 6-7 years, handing out food and free government phones and tablets.
He's pretty much a daily person that walks by and panhandle sometimes, but I've never had any problems with him. He's come for phones over the past, and I've helped him. I've never seen him give anybody any trouble.
By all accounts, Hogan's wasn't known as a violent person, leaving many with questions about the lead up to this deadly shooting.
Got gone down like that, just he's not here no more. It's sad.
Multiple agencies are investigating this deadly officer-involved shooting, including the Lehigh County Homicide Task Force. We're told that an autopsy will be performed tomorrow, and that might be the next time we get an update from the coroner's office. Back to you.
All right, Jennifer Lee, thank you. Developing tonight, dozens of shots fired on a car in the city's Feltonville neighborhood. The woman sitting inside did not survive, and it all happened in broad daylight around 6 tonight in the 500 block of East Loudon Street, right across from a busy playground. The vehicle hit 15 times, several of the bullets going through the windshield. The woman was shot multiple times and died at the scene.
We don't know why she was parked at this location in the 500 block of East Loudon, and she was sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle when we know someone fired at least 28 shots, because we found 28 spent shell casings from a semi-automatic weapon.
Police say the shooter was in a white SUV. At least one of the several surveillance cameras on the block captured the shooting.